It feels very good to have the election behind us. It was a lot of work. My campaign team worked tirelessly with social media, um, delivering information to households, mailing. I mean, it was a group effort, a monumental group effort, and I'm glad it all worked out. It was not a very clean campaign as far as my opponent's team went. There was just a lot of shenanigans that went on, and just putting up with a lot of that was, it's nice that it's over.
Right. It's in the rearview mirror. And I'm curious, you take office officially, I guess, on January 1st, but
Correct.
you're probably already in the mindset of getting the job done. What are the immediate goals? So, there've been talk about merging with Victor or finding other ways to lower the tax burden. Obviously, that was a big part of the platform. What do you sort of view as the short-term goals here?
Well, like say the 90-day plan, that's how I'm kind of looking at it. One of the first things we want to accomplish, and this is one of our main goals of our campaign, was to bring the Victor Farmington ambulance, bring one of their rigs into our district. Um, it makes perfect sense to do that. They're the only agency that can treat and transport a patient. Right now, a lot of the EMS calls the fire department in Fishers responds to, but they can't transport. So it really makes sense to have someone who can respond and then take you to Strong or General or Thompson Hospital, wherever you need to go when minutes count, for something serious. So the Victor Farmington ambulance has been trying to do that for quite a while, and they've been, not allowed to keep one of their rigs in our district. They do currently keep one in the Victor Firehouse until 11 p.m., and they would like to do the same here. Those are their peak hours. I guess after 11 o'clock, things kind of slow down. So it makes perfect sense to have an agency here on this side of town for our residents who can respond quickly.
Yep.
Um, Second thing is the union contract it expires December of 23. So we are jumping right into negotiations for that contract. Um, the last contract was signed 5 years ago. It's, in my opinion, a very lucrative contract um, for the fire department, and we want to look at that and see if there's any cost savings that we can accomplish, because right now with what's built into that contract, it's just putting this fire district on a trajectory of tax increases year after year after year that are just we're close to the breaking point now. It's not sustainable, the path that we're on. So those two big things, we want to look at manpower analysis. You'll understand where our resources are being used, when they're being used, and if we have to make some adjustments here or there, um, we'll do that. So that's my 90-day plan.
When folks hear that last part, they're going to assume that that means cuts of some kind. Um, is that necessarily the worst case scenario outcome, or is that kind of a scenario where you're thinking, we'll evaluate it and see where we stand?
We're going to evaluate it and see where we stand. We're working a fine line here because emergency services are critical to an area. You have to have good fire protection, rescue protection, and EMS protection. So we don't want to do anything that's going to compromise resident safety. But on the other hand, I mean, our district is by far one of the most expensive in the whole area for taxpayers. Just to give you an example, the town of Victor is about 15 or 16,000 people. Okay. It's roughly split in half geographically. Fishers takes care of the west side of the town. Victor Fire District takes care of the right side, the east side of the town. Um, our tax rate for next year is going to be $3.18 per thousand of assessed value. Victor's it looks like they're going up to about $1.51 per assessed value. So, say on a $330,000 home, um, a resident in the Fishers Fire District is paying $1,049. In Victor, they're paying $453. That's a huge difference for people in the same town. And Victor just hired their first two non-union full-time firefighters this year because they had an issue with getting volunteers to respond during the day. when most people work. So that seems to be working out for them. I keep asking, what is so unique about this side of Victor that we need to have the staff we have 24/7, 365, when the other towns around us seem to be doing okay the way they've been doing business for many years. So that's the $1,000 question that needs to be asked.
And I guess the obvious follow up to that is a lot of folks who don't live in Victor are probably scratching their heads saying, well, why is Victor divided in half? And why does Fishers serve one half and Victor serve the other half? Would it not make more sense to just bring those together and make it one full
It
district?
it would definitely, and the current, well, some of the members that are still on the current board back in 2017, 2016, 2017, when our tax rates really started taking off. There was a study done. It was a government study to look at fire, EMS, and police in the town of Victor. And what they found was it made perfect sense to merge the Fishers Fire District and the Victor Fire District into one. The town really could use one fire district. It's not that big of a town. It's not like a Henrietta or Greece. It's a fairly small town, 15, 16,000 people. It makes perfect sense to do that. The wheels were put in place, put in motion to get that done. Um, Everybody was in favor of it, supposedly. The Victor Fire District was in favor. The town supervisor was in favor. Fishers Fire District was in favor. Um, Victor Fire District voted for consolidation, but for some reason in the winter of 2018, when the vote came to Fishers, they rejected it 3-2 and never gave a good explanation. We've heard afterwards that, Victor had too much debt, and I've heard all kinds of things that, they didn't want to lose their identity, and the firemen would have had to reapply for their job. So there was just a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and they convinced three of our commissioners to kill that plan. That was a huge miss, huge miss. A lot of people poured a lot of money and time into that, and basically for nothing. The state even had about $250,000 grant to make that happen, to do all the administrative and legal work, and they just said no. And that's basically how the Fishers Taxpayer Coalition, of which I'm a member, got started, because we saw that and we're like, this isn't right. This is just not right with the decision they made, and we really need to fix this.
For the folks who might be concerned that when you lower costs, you're going to erode quality, or in this case, response time. That tends to be the thing that people think of most when it comes to firefighting.
Right.
What would your message be to them?
Well, I mean, like I said, all the districts around us, Victor, Bushnell's Basin, Mendon, Perrington, um, they're mostly all, if not all, volunteer. Victor is the only one that has two full-time firefighters. Um, they seem to be doing okay. I mean, I don't hear their residents screaming about, lack of service. That's something that we really need to look at and understand what is so unique about this area that we have to be so different than our neighbors.
Right. And my curiosity here, as we look forward, what has your last, say, like 4 or 5 days, and now looking ahead to the next 10 or so before you officially take office? I know there's a holiday smack dab in the middle, but
Right.
what's your prep look like? What are you doing now? Have you contacted Chief Chapman or any of the firefighters to start conversations about what they're thinking, or anything like that?
Yes, I have a meeting with two of the other commissioners, the two of the current commissioners, to meet with the union rep for our firefighters this coming week, so we can start laying the groundwork for our contract talks next year. So that's in progress. I found out that I have to go for a couple of hours of training at the fire station from our HR person there. So that's got to be done. I do have to go to the town hall to get sworn in officially sometime before the end of the year. So yeah, that's the extent of my prep work for now. Plus, I'm doing a lot of research on my own with the information I have to so I could get into these discussions with good knowledge.
And forward looking, fast forward a year. What would you consider a successful 2023 if we sat down a year from now and we were talking about what was accomplished as far as the plans that you set out to make happen?
Well, a successful 2023 would be that our ambulance is in this district, functioning well. Um, our tax rate is hopefully on the downward trajectory, not upward. We have a decent, fair union contract in place for 2024 and beyond. Um, and we're still serving our residents uh, efficiently and as affordably as possible.